friends! Welcome back to my channel. I've realized that for a booktuber, I don't have a lot of book recommendations on my channel. So, I think this is our first official recommendations video. It's gonna be if you like this book, you'll like this book, and vice versa. This first pairing of if you like this, you might like this is going to be one that I don't think a lot of people have thought about. It might seem kind of weird at first, but I'll explain to you why it's a great pairing, and you should read it. So, if you liked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which was my first V.E. Schwab, by the way, I think you would like 6 Months Later by Natalie D. Richards. Addie LaRue is a historical fantasy, as this is a YA thriller. So they're very, very different. But I think the aspect of memory and playing with time and memory would mean that you would like both. So in this one, you follow Chloe, who falls asleep in class, and she wakes up 6 months later. Her whole life is turned upside down, and she has to piece together what happened in the past 6 months. While Addie LaRue doesn't want to be like every girl and get married on her, I feel like it was her 17th birthday. I could be wrong about that part, but she was very young when she was supposed to get married, so she ran away. And she made an unintentional deal with a dark god, a demon. I don't know. You'd have to read it and decide for yourself what he was. But in that, she didn't know it at the time, but she gets to live forever, but no one remembers who she is until someone does remember. And together they try and piece together the mystery of her life and of Addie LaRue. So, yes, they are very different. But at the core, I think the main idea is very similar. Okay, and then I have a 3-parter. So, the first one is, if you liked The Night Swim by Megan Golding, which is a adult thriller. I almost said YA thriller. Then I think you would like I Killed Zoe Sapiens by Kit Frick, which is the YA thriller. So both of these follow a podcast. They both have mysteries. They're both crime based. This one is about a true crime podcaster who is in the courtroom following a small town rape case. But in her personal life, she's getting stalked by this woman who wants help to find her sister who went missing years ago. I Killed Zoe Sapiens opens with this teenager confessing to murdering Zoe Sapiens. And then you flash back a year, I believe, and you get the pieces of the mystery of what actually happened to Zoe. And It was just, they were both great. This one also has, Zoe's best friend has a podcast about crime. So that adds to it. The podcast might have been the best part of this book, in my humble opinion. But they were both great. Both 5 stars. Then, just to take it a step further, if you like I Killed Zoe Sapiens by Kit Frick, I think you would like Little Monsters by Kara Thomas. Little Monsters is about this new girl in this small town who is having trouble adjusting, and she finally makes friends, but she doesn't get invited out to this party with her new friends. And then it becomes one of her friends goes missing, and it kind of becomes a mystery of what happened to her friend that night. I think if you liked one of these, you'd like the other, mainly because it goes somewhere that no other books go. I read a lot of thrillers, and I have never, until this book and then this book, I've never read a twist quite like these two. The Shape of Family by Shippa Somagoda. I'm very sorry if I butchered that. And House Rules by Jodi Picoult. Rewind. For prophecies. Rewind. These both follow a family through a tragedy that will break your soul. Yes, that's the best way I can put it. So in The Shape of Family, you follow 4 different people. You follow the mom, dad, the brother, and the sister through this incredibly difficult tragedy that just broke me. And in House Rules, you follow Jacob, who has Asperger's, and his life coach goes missing when the investigators are investigating. He looks guilty because he can't look you in the eye, and he fidgets, and just, he has Asperger's. And you follow 5 different perspectives through this incredibly sad tragedy. And that is precisely why I think these are good. And then I think if you liked Those Girls by Chevy Stevens, then I think you would like The Passenger by Lisa Lutz. Those Girls follow 3 sisters who get abused by their father. And they finally had enough one night, and they left to go on the run to get away from him. But after they leave, you would think that the worst things in life are like your dad abusing you. It can't get much worse than that. Read this book and you'll find out how much worse it can actually get. But there are trigger warnings for rape, kidnapping, held captive, abuse, domestic abuse, everything. Now, in The Passenger, you follow this woman who, at the very beginning of the book. She says that she did not kill her husband, but his dead body is right in front of her. So you would think, well, call the police. And that is not what she did. She changes her identity and she goes on the run, even though she's innocent. So, if you like on the run books, these both are perfect. Okay. And then our last three-parter is, if you liked One Was Lost by Natalie D. Richards. Hey, a second Natalie D. Richards on this list. Then I think you would like 10 by Gretchen McNeil. These are fast-paced thrillers with horror elements for both of them. They're both survival stories, and they're both amazing. So One Was Lost, you follow a whole class out in the wilderness, and Sarah and 3 of her friends get lost, and then they have to learn to survive while some crazy stuff happens on this camping trip. And it's scary and thrilling, and I don't know what it is, but there's something about Natalie D. Richards' writing that just pulls me in from the very start, and I love it. So, 10 by Gretchen McNeil. You follow 10 teenagers who are having a house party on this island. So, they're stranded. Of course, it's like thunderstorms. And teenagers start dying. So, it's kind of like a slasher book. And that is why I think if you like 10 by Gretchen McNeil, that you would like Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar. So this is a slasher book about a clown in a cornfield, and these teenagers have a mansion party, stranded. The barn's a little bit out there, so it's kind of you're stranded, but more so, I think you'd like this one if you like this one because of the slasher elements and the twists that happen in both of these books. And then this one I'm pairing together because they're both heartbreakingly sad books. They both broke me, which is something that I really love in my books, apparently. So, if you liked The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith, then I think you'd like By the Time You Read This, I'll Be Dead by Julie Ann Peters. Both of these have trigger warnings for rape and bullying and depression, and in this one you follow Delaney, who has tried multiple times to kill herself and it never works. So she's determined that this next time will be the last time. So she joins this blog or this website called Through the Light, where they help you actually plan out your suicide. They help you write the letter if you're going to write a note. They help determine how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, where. And then there's also this communication tab where you can talk to other people that are in the same boat as you for one reason or another. And you guys can talk about the decision that you've made and what brought you to that decision. And then The Way I Used to Be opens with a rape. Like a very hard to read rape scene. And then you find out that it was someone that she knew. And that just makes it that much worse. And reading these books, you see them both go down the rabbit hole of no return. And it is just heartbreaking. But I loved them. So, trigger warnings for everything under the moon for both these books. And then, if you liked The Silent Patient by Mcmanus, I think you would like The Wives by Taryn Fisher. They both are adult thrillers that have twists that I did not see coming. Since reading both of them, I have read some reviews that said, oh yeah, it was very easy to guess. For me, personally, it was not, and they both kept me on the edge of my seat all night. I went into The Silent Patient not knowing much about it, other than that you follow this woman who hasn't spoken a word for 10 years since she shot her husband. And now there's like a new therapist, psychologist. There's a new psychologist at the hospital that she's at that wants to get her to speak. And in The Wives, you follow Wednesday, Monday, and Friday. This man has 3 different wives. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Saturday and Sunday, they share him. The other couple days of the week, I don't know what he does, but, whatever. Not my business, I guess. But if you're telling me that I had to share my husband, we would not. No. He's like, oh, well, we can get married, but you can only have me 1 day a week. I'd be like, nope. Not happening. But you follow these wives as they find out. So, Wednesday gets a text on his phone that she sees, and she reads it, and she comes to the conclusion that one of the other wives is pregnant. And she asks her husband about it. And that is the start of this epic thriller. I don't know what else I can really tell you. Other than when she goes to make friends, the contract says that she's not allowed to know about the other. Well, she's allowed to know about them, but she can't ask about them. And you can't go meet them. So, of course, when you see a weird text on your man's phone, you're going to go track down the other wife, I guess. And she finds out that the guy that I think it was Friday is married to. Friday's husband is pretty abusive. He's very abusive. And Friday has so many bruises and all that kind of stuff. And Wednesday knows that her hubby, would not do that to anyone. So she has to figure out what's going on. Right? They're both very high stakes, high energy thrillers. And they just the twists. If you like Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, I think you would like Tell Me 3 Things by Julie Buxbaum. So, both of these have an internet romance mystery element. So, in Tell Me 3 Things, you follow Jess, who's just moved from Chicago to the California area. She doesn't get along with anyone, and she's finding it hard to fit in. Until SN, somebody, nobody, starts emailing her, and then eventually IMing her, and each day, as they get closer and closer, they tell each other, tell me 3 things every single day about each other that the other person doesn't know. Now, Jess doesn't know who SN is, but SN knows who Jess is, and it's just so freaking cute. I've read this book 3 times in the past 3 years, and I don't reread books very often, so that tells you something. Now, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, I'm sure you've all heard of by now, but it's kind of the same aspect of Simon is talking to this guy on the internet named Blue, and they talk all the time, but Simon's not out of the closet, and Blue isn't either. And for me, I guessed both of these fairly easily. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda did have me second guessing myself a lot, though. But you follow these characters falling in love over the internet, and it's just so freaking adorable. And Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is LGBTQIA+. This is our last recommendation. I really enjoyed doing it. So, if you liked No Exit by Taylor Adams, I think you would like The Cousins by Taryn and Mcmanus. So, these are both thrillers. Okay, this one is more mystery thriller, where this one's just just fast-paced thriller. But I think for the parts that need to be thrilling in The Cousins, it is as good, as thrilling, as high, or as fast-paced as No Exit. And that's precisely why I think they go great together. So, in No Exit, you follow Darby, who is on the way to her mom's house in Colorado for Christmas? I don't know. But, she gets snowed in at this rest area along the way where 4 mysterious strangers are already there. And on her way inside to the rest area, she sees a kid locked in a crate in the truck next to her. And that starts this epic, action-packed thriller. So, The Cousins is like a island mystery where these cousins are going to meet their grandma for the first time, and because they have this like family thing where they don't talk anymore. So when they go there for the summer, you find out why in the past people they were banned from going to the island, and then there are some incredible twists in this one. This one's a lot slower than No Exit, but especially towards the end of The Cousins, it becomes action-packed and fast-paced, and everything that I want in a gritty thriller is this one. So, you kind of get the best of both worlds with this one. It's kind of slow and gets you kind of going at the beginning and then just boom, get you. And I did not guess either of these. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel.